On today's episode, we are so excited to not only chat with David and Kirty from Culture Shock Marketing, but they are a lovely client of ours at Dot & Company. So we have been working with them for a while now, and we are going to fill you guys in on how they not only have started an agency together as a couple, but they jumped ship and now they're working together for years with some really awesome clients.
Welcome to the Happy Clients Podcast, brought to you by Dot & Company. Whether you're a virtual assistant, an agency owner, or a client-facing account manager, we all deal with clients. Lucky for you, client management is what we do best. Now, let's dig in, chat cam life, and have some fun along the way. Cheers to happy clients.
We have so much to talk about today. Super stoked for you guys to join the podcast. Guys, let's dive in and tell me all about Culture Shock and what you guys are doing. Actually, if you guys even want to start from the beginning and just kind of let us know how Culture Shock Marketing came about, and I guess even where you are today. Let's tell the whole story.
David was in film and TV, and he was working in that field, and I was working in psychology. And there was a campaign that he was doing at the time. He was doing social media, and it was a health campaign. And so he's like, you're kind of in that health space. I could use your help. And I came in and I loved it. Like from the get-go, I was like, oh my goodness, I can actually see the impact that we're having on people. Because the thing is, when you work with social media campaigns, you get the data in real time. And so I was like, oh my goodness, I can see the impact that it was having, and absolutely loved it. And then there was this idea of, I want to be in a lot of campaigns and work with David a lot more. And he goes, why don't we just quit our jobs and just do this? And it was a terrifying sort of thought. You're going from your 9 to 5 and a stable job to then starting a business. So it was very terrifying for me, and especially like stepping into a space that was so different from psychology, because that was what I wanted to do. I was going to become a psychologist, and that's where I was heading. And to throw that away in a way and just focus on this was such a terrifying prospect.
All that hard work. And so we came together and we thought, well, we started for the first 6 months doing it on the side with the intention that, okay, 6 months, we're going to quit. And we had a few past clients, because every time I had a full-time job over the last number of years, there was always like a ad campaign I was running on the side. So we had a bit of a leeway in existing clients or referrals that were coming in. And it just got to the point where we were doing this and we're working on the weekends. And we thought, our jobs are really annoying compared to this. So let's just go all in and see what happens. We've got nothing to lose. We're not really enjoying full-time jobs. And then this on top of it was just really intense. So yeah, we went all in, and it was absolutely crazy for the first year. It was more intense than working our full-time jobs, but it was definitely worth it because we had the control to take it where it needed to be. And I think that was the frustration for both of us. No matter which industry we're in, we were both frustrated that people we worked with weren't doing it the right way or the best way. And we always knew that there's a better way to do it. And we wanted to create those new ways of doing things so that the outcome is best for the audience we're trying to reach.
I love that. I love that you took it and you jumped and you just said, we're going to do it, because I think that holds back so many people. And the fact that you said, as soon as you knew that your other jobs were more annoying, it's like they're getting in the way, right? They're taking time away that you could be building this amazing company, and you just took the leap, and here you are. So when was that? Like, how long ago?
In 2017, 2018?
Yeah, 2017, I think.
Yeah, I think, 20, was it? Wow. Yeah, 2017, we took that leap. And look, I've been working in social media on the side and full-time in different jobs for a long time, but I was too scared to jump in by myself. I needed a business partner and a partner in life to have enough confidence to dive in. So I can completely relate to that fear of giving it all up. And really, without you, I wouldn't have been able to do it, and we wouldn't be here right now.
I love it.
And I
Well,
think that actually will resonate with so many people too, like even taking that step to be like, there's a part of just not being comfortable in like the corporate role or something that is not maybe the way you want it, like you put it. I think that actually will resonate with a lot of people. This podcast is majority like agency owners and those people listening. And I feel like those entrepreneur stories are so important to like, just maybe it's even that extra push sometimes to like, just do it. And here we are 4 years later. That's crazy. And you have definitely well-maintained agency. I'm sure there were some bumps along the way, but how is agency life today?
It's so different, but one of the main reasons we also wanted to start a business was to create good work-life balance. That was like the main motivation, because we were in these jobs and, you know, working crazy hours and not getting any time for ourselves, and our health was really suffering and our mental health was suffering. And so it was really important for us to create space and a business that kind of allows us to have the flexibility and take time when we need to take time. And so we've been able to see that we'd be able to flourish in this environment and be able to take time for ourselves when we need to.
And it wasn't always like that. We started out the first year and a half working every weekend, working super late at night, because we didn't have margins to outsource anything. So we're literally doing everything ourselves. And our intention, of course, was to create a healthier lifestyle, an agency and a business that helps us maintain that balance. But we completely lost it in that first year and a half until we got enough sort of cash flow in the bank to be able to relax a little bit. But more than anything, I think the shift was that we got to a point where we just had a big conversation and said, the purpose of this was to create a business, not to create a business that's billions of dollars worth and we can sell eventually. It was to create a business that allows us to live a lifestyle where we can work anywhere in the world, where we can have a team anywhere in the world, and we can maintain a healthier lifestyle. Because after, you know, working full time for so many years, we're both like, this is not healthy and this is not what we're designed to be as humans. We're not meant to be in these cold offices with white walls everywhere and stiff chairs.
Right.
You know, we're meant to be standing desks in reconverted factories.
Yes.
From home or working from the cafe and wherever you want. So yeah, you know, that was definitely a moment where we had to, you have the intention and you kind of lose yourself along the way in the process, but as long as you're really clear about what your goal is, you can turn that around. And we have in the last year and a half, at least, probably 2 years.
Love it.
That's
I'm
amazing.
here for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Taylor, like we're like goals. We're just like someday.
Yeah, but I think that's a good reality check to realign with why you started this business. And if you were to think of yourself back in, what was it, 2017, and the things that you were saying, like, oh, I wonder if we'll ever get to this, or we'll ever get to this revenue, or these hours worked, or this flexible lifestyle, you would have dreamt of that. And then now you're living it. Gut check, like, okay, now this is what we worked so hard to get to. And it's really important to come back to that. And I want to talk about building an agency as a couple, because a lot of people, they do this, they might start an agency on their own and that's kind of their own thing, but you guys jumped in together to start this thing. So how is that going from 2 different careers to coming together, starting a business? Now you're engaged, you're getting married. How does that work?
I think one of the challenges with working together is not being able to define your work life from your personal. We just, especially in the first 2 years, I think we were working all the time. We were talking about work all the time and there was no separation. And so it just became, I think our work just became so consuming and we had to make a very conscious decision to, you know, separate and to really schedule in time to spend with one another with no work talk allowed. Because when you're running a business, and especially in those early days, it consumes everything because you have so much to do and it's just the two of you working, you know. And so, yeah, it became quite stressful, but I think the positives is we had very different perspectives because we had very different careers. and bringing those perspectives and being able to really trust one another and have that trust built in just worked so well. And it allowed us to really go from like almost 0 to 100 because there was just this trust there. And
that's the biggest thing, right? Trust allows you to not worry about who your business partner is, because it's a family business, it's a couple business. You know, the trust is there, so you don't have to build it because you already have it, or you are constantly working on it between yourself and your partner. The other thing I definitely remember was I had more sort of marketing experience, and I came in with all the probably bad lessons from marketing as well, and was trying to say, hey, no, this is how marketing is done. And it was really powerful to have Kirti pull me up on those things, because it wasn't necessarily done the right way or done the most efficient way. It was just done the most stressful way. And that allowed us to create new processes and new ways of doing things and new ways of working, because there's so much we had to unlearn from the 9 to 5 and freelance world as we shifted into sort of working on a business, not in a business, and trying to shift our mindsets.
And I also think that, you know, when you are working in these corporate environments, and they can be quite toxic, and trying to unlearn those toxic behaviors and making a conscious effort to make sure that everyone in our teams value that, we're making sure we know that we value what each other are putting in, and creating a space where people feel like they can come and talk to us, and if they need support, we're there. That was really important. And that was from the beginning. When we were starting the business, we wanted to make sure that was the environment we were creating for ourselves and for anyone who joined our team, because it was really important for us, because we didn't want to fall back into these like normalized toxic work environments.
Then we just become another company.
It's out there. Right. I really love that. And I'm going a little off script here, but what are some of the secrets? Like, how do you achieve that?
Communication is probably one of the biggest, you know, it has created the greatest impact. I've had to get a lot better at communicating throughout the process, and also listening, learning to listen, and listening with empathy, listening from and hearing different team members express what's going on for them, and being able to just, I would say that's probably the biggest one, being able to respond with empathy and not go, oh, well, that's just an excuse, which you'd often hear in an office environment. Oh, they're just lazy. It's an excuse.
Right. And also understand that you don't know everything. You need to be open to learning and listening to other people. I think sometimes when you like start a business, you're like, oh, I know everything and I have to do everything. And understanding that you don't know everything, you need to be open to listening and learning from other people, whether they're an intern, whoever they are, you need to be open to gaining knowledge. And that just makes you a better business owner, but it also makes you a better person.
And those habits, and you see this a lot in startups, where the startup has had to do everything themselves, and then suddenly the team grows and they're still trying to do everything themselves the way that they used to do it in the early days. So that shift of like breaking those bad habits that you develop in those early years, it was a really big step for us as well.
Those are really good. And growing your team, you've just said, but growing your team is so important to this success. And you went from 2 to how many people are working with you now?
We have approximately 3 permanent contractors, and that's really how we've approached it with now. And I'll tell you a story in just a moment, but we've decided that as we're in this growth period, we want to have permanent contractors that we're meeting and connecting with every single week. We pay them per month, and they track their hours, and that works really well for us, that sort of permanent freelancer contractor type model, because some months we get super busy, we need to scale up their hours, and other months we need to scale down their hours because maybe we're just waiting for some proposals to be signed off or whatnot. So that particularly now is working extremely well, and not having to onboard someone as an employee is a big shift. And we definitely made that mistake with one part-time employee we had in the early days. In a long story short, we hired someone for 3 days a week. And the irony was that person wasn't doing a bad job or anything like that, but we hired them in Sydney. And so we brought them into the office, and it was just a pain having to come into the office to meet with them. We didn't want to be in the office. We wanted to work from home. We wanted to work wherever. And we wanted to make sure, and that was kind of, oh, hang on. We always wanted this business to be fully remote. So why are we working with someone in Sydney and having to go meet them and train them in person when we want this to be a flexible place where anyone can work from anywhere? So that was a big learning as well. And since then, since we've started using freelance contractors, we'll continue to use them, as we grow for as long as possible. There will be a time where we'll bring on some permanent staff, but we just love that flexibility of being able to scale up and down as we get busy or as we quieten down in different times of the year.
You didn't start an agency to be busy 24/7. You started an agency for the freedom, but instead you're busy. You're wearing all of the hats, from agency owner and Facebook ads expert to client account manager and hiring manager. You're doing your best, but your agency isn't where you want it to be, running itself while you sip a Mai Tai on a white sand beach. Whatever the problem, there's one thing you know for sure. You need a proven solution, one that integrates tested systems and empowers your team to run and scale the business on autopilot. Hi, I'm Emma, a client account manager at Dot & Co. and your training manager inside the CAM School. Over at the CAM School, we get it. As former digital marketers, we gave up that agency hustle to zero in on what we do best: keeping clients happy. As the world's first and only dedicated team of client account managers for digital marketing agencies, we can help keep your clients happy too, with the exact systems, training, and templates we use every day to support seven-figure agency owners as their remote client account managers. Are you ready to make your dream agency a reality? Enroll your team in CAM School for instant access to the exact systems and training we use to train our own superstar client account managers. Jump over to thecamschool.com and use the code HAPPYCLIENTS to get a special bonus valued at over $1,000 just for listening to this podcast. I'll see you in the CAM School.
I think that's so smart as an agency owner. You're obviously growing and you're busy, but it also reflects those values, that the reason that you started this agency is so that you're flexible, so that you get to pick and choose who you work with, and it kind of ebbs and flows with your life, which I think is just super important.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah. And you know what? I just side note, I live like a little bit outside the city, and then Taylor and the team and some other team members used to live, Taylor used to live inside the city, and even coming like that 25 minutes, I was like, I roll like, oh my God, I'm going to be in my jams. Like, I just want to be in my jammies. And
Waste of time.
I know. I was like, who commutes these days? So I feel that for sure. Like having, it makes a lot of sense. Like even those sort of flexible, like wear your t-shirt, that's fine. But I don't want to come into the office, get in my car and take that time. Yeah. I feel that sometimes, even though sometimes I like to throw on a good podcast and enjoy it too. So win-win. And then if we want to kind of pivot and talk about your clients a little bit, that would be great. So David and Kirty, let's talk about not even how you choose clients, but who you're working with. And you actually have a lot of success with long-term clients, which is unique and special. So why don't we dive into that a little bit?
So I think we've always had this intention with every single client we work with, that we're building a relationship with them to work with them for the next 2 to 5 years from the word go. And so we are always looking for clients that have aligned values and also an aligned mission, which is, for our mission is to help people live a better quality of life. And so the niches we work in is health and education. We also do a little bit of nature tourism, but health and education is really what we're focused on. And as we approach these clients, we've split sort of our energy between our government clients, state government. We do a lot of work with national parks in New South Wales here, and the Department of Environment and other agencies within the state. And because they're slower but really big moving beast of a type of projects, we offset that other smaller or fast growth startups that are usually 4 to 5 years in and need to really ramp up their video marketing, their content marketing, and their ad campaigns. And so that balance has been really great for us because government jobs always take a really long time to sort of move or happen or evolve, but they're consistent and they're steady. And then the startups are like, we want it now, give it to us now, next week, today, tomorrow. And so that allows us to manage the workload while keeping two cash flow streams.
I think we also look at our clients as like partners instead of we're just an agency who they've hired. We really invest in them, and we look at our relationship as a partnership, which in turn allows them to also invest in us because we do have these long-term contracts and relationships with them. So yeah, it really works.
Yeah, it's almost like we're an extension of their marketing team is how we like to frame it a lot of the time. And when we are working on something and see opportunities for them to improve or change something, we're very open to and honest to tell them what they should be doing more of. And also when they come to us with briefs and projects and say, hey, we've got this budget to spend on this, we're very straightforward. We're like, that's not a good use of your ad spend, or that's not a good use of your budget. That is the wrong step. You are 5 steps too far in advance. You need to go back to the basics first and get the foundation right before we do any of that activity. So I think a lot of those things, that's how we love to work with our clients. And therefore, we don't want to take on 100 new clients. We want to be, not the biggest, but the best at what we do in our niches. And give the best work that we can with the clients we work with, and work with them long term so we can keep that going and grow with them. That's what we really enjoy, is growing with their teams and with their businesses. I think we get a lot of joy out of that.
And it shows, right? The fact that you've had these clients for years. And I think there's a huge difference in setting those expectations from the beginning too, because you're obviously going into these, let's call them sales calls, and straight up telling them like, we want to be partners with you. And if we work together, it's because we both align. And I think that just goes so far, and obviously it works. And it's way more fun, isn't it, to have clients long term, because then you know them, you know their quirks, and exactly, you can read their minds.
All about the relationships, you know. And of course, so many referrals come from those relationships as well. So you're not having to chase lots of new leads and new sales because you're recommended.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. That's definitely something not only you guys should be super proud of, but I feel like it's quite unique and really setting that sort of, precedent from the very beginning when you're having these calls and discovering different people to work with. So I think that's totally cool and really special for sure. And it's also like a client account manager's dream, right?
Yeah.
Like basically I would become everybody's best friend. So that would be fun.
So I want to know, what is next for your business and what you guys are up to? What's next for Culture Shock?
Well, it's a really exciting time because we finally, I feel like we've never felt like we'd ever be to this point where we have systems and processes in place, onboarding flows working and sales flows working, client fulfillment processes that just work and we don't have to do it ourselves. Like, it's such an incredible feeling. And it took a long time to get there. And now that we are there, it really feels like we could take on 3 to 4 times as many clients as we could before.
Wow.
Because we have Maya, who's supporting us as a freelance contractor from your team, who's able to take all the calls that I was caught up in. And we have other team members that are able to jump on and just get the campaigns live, produce the videos, whatever it might be. And so we can actually focus fully on the business and on the relationships and of course, a bit of sales in there as well. And that's been just such a transformation for us. And as part of our long-term goal, we want to work anywhere in the world. So next stop is actually Canada. Yeah. We're moving in July.
You're moving to Canada?
You're moving? Where?
Well, we don't know because we've never been to Canada.
Well, we can tell you.
We'll circle back to this. Yes, we will.
Yeah, we'll circle back. We'll tell you where to go.
Our plan has always been to have a business where we can live in different places. So once COVID lifts and travels are open, our next stop is Canada for about 3 months and drop into Europe for a month and see how it goes, what it's like working in another time zone, having the team run everything, really stress test this because eventually we do want to be able to work in different parts of the world for 6 months at a time and not have everything sort of impact our business negatively no matter where we are. That's the goal. And we're on our way.
Yeah.
It's getting closer.
That's so cool.
Awesome.
That is so cool. And I feel like a lot of agency owners would dream the same dream. And to know that you guys are actually pretty close is amazing. And when you come to Canada, we're here for it. So it'll be fun.
So
yeah, Canada, just that small country that we just know everybody.
Come on over for dinner. Oh my God, I love it. Cool. Well, tell us, where can our audience find you guys and learn more about Culture Shock and follow your journey?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you can find us at cultureshock.marketing. We specialize in video marketing with story at the heart of everything we do. And we love making video that's mobile first, made for social media. And we're always thinking about audiences and how to hook different audiences with different contexts and different stories. As I said before, we love working with fast growth startups in the health education space in particular, and anyone that just has a team or a marketing team that needs help with content marketing, or a lot of the work we actually do is with organizations that are trying to improve their internal marketing capabilities. And we come in as consultants and help with that as well and help them work out their content flow. We're based in Sydney and we'll soon be based in Canada. And we love connecting with anyone that has aligned values. So feel free to reach out anytime. We're always open for a chat and just love connecting with different people from around the world and different organizations.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Cheers to happy clients.